The and or features are great for expanding your comparison, but these will only return a true or false. However, if we factor in the if syntax, we can specify the value that we would like to see returned, as this video will demonstrate. Please open the logical workbook and go to the if and if or spreadsheet to follow along in this lesson. Today we'll be combining the if statement with the and or feature to get the value that we would like to see returned. The formula on your screen is very similar to the formula used in the and or video, with the exception of if. Let's go ahead and break down the formula. Okay, so let's look at the top formula, and it basically says if C5 is greater than 3 and D5 is greater than 3500, then we will return a qualified. If it does not meet both specifications, then Excel will return an unqualified. Okay, now let's look at our second formula. And it's basically the same formula, except we are swapping out and replacing it with or. And this formula reads, C5 is greater than 3 or D5 is greater than 3500. Then we will return a qualified if at least one of these specifications is met. If neither specification is met, then we will return an unqualified. So here we are on our spreadsheet, and I would like to begin with the and feature. Now before we start, I would like to point out that I have color-coded our formula to make it easier to follow. I have placed the formula in red. I have placed the true value in blue and the false value in green. Let's begin by placing our mouse inside of cell E5. Let's go ahead and say equal and if. Now we're going to place an opening parenthesis. Now if you look up at the top, you can follow along with the formula, or you can follow along with the demonstration or the text that is displayed on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and say and. I'm going to place another opening parenthesis and select cell C5. Next I'm going to place my greater than sign, and I'm going to say 3. Let's go ahead and place a comma. I'm going to select cell D5 and place another greater than sign, and this time we're going to say 3500. Let's go ahead and close it out with a parenthesis. So let's place a comma. Let's go ahead and place the word qualified in quotation marks. Now let's add a comma and place the word unqualified in quotation marks. Now we need to close it out with a parenthesis. Now if our formula is correct, we will get a qualified because it looks like it has met the specification. And if our formula is not correct, then we may get an error. Let's go ahead and say enter. Okay, so this looks great. We did receive a qualified. Now I want to go ahead and do one more for Ricky Smith. Let's select cell E6. So again, let's say equal and if. Let's place an opening parenthesis and add the word and. Let's place another opening parenthesis and go ahead and select C6. Let's say greater than and type the number 3. Let's place a comma. Next, let's go ahead and select cell D6 and place a greater than symbol. We'll say 3500 again. Let's place our closing parenthesis and add a comma. Okay, so let's go ahead and type the word qualified in quotation marks. Let's follow it up with a comma. Let's type the word unqualified in quotation marks and close it out with a parenthesis. So it looks like Ricky will not meet the specifications, so we do need to see an unqualified return in this case. Let's go ahead and say enter. Okay, so as you can see, Ricky has not met our qualifications, so he does not qualify for the discount. Let's autofill the remaining 3. Let's select Ricky, which is in cell E6. Let's get our black cross and let's drag it all the way down and autofill. So as you can see, James is qualified, Frank does not qualify, and Valerie has met the specification. Okay, now with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the OR feature. Okay, so we're simply going to repeat our steps. Let's begin by placing our mouse inside of cell K5. Let's say equal and if. Let's place an opening parenthesis, and this time we're going to type the word OR. We're using the exact same formula. Now let's go ahead and place another opening parenthesis and select cell I5. Let's go ahead and say greater than and type the number 3. Let's go ahead and place a comma and select cell J5. Let's say greater than and type 3500. Let's close it out with a parenthesis. So this is basically saying if I5 is greater than 3 or J5 is greater than 3500, then we will return a qualified. And if not, then we will return an unqualified. Let's finish our formula. Let's go ahead and place a comma and type the word qualified in quotation marks. Let's place another comma and type the word unqualified in quotation marks. Let's go ahead and close it out with our parenthesis. Now it looks like Thomas has met the specifications. So let's go ahead and say enter. And as you can see, Thomas has received the qualified. Okay, so let's do one more for Sally and then we will autofill the remaining. Let's go ahead and say equal and if. Let's place an opening parenthesis and type the word or. Let's place another opening parenthesis and go ahead and select cell I6. Let's type the greater than symbol and follow it up with a number 3. Let's place our comma. Let's select cell J6. Follow it up with a greater than symbol. We'll type the number 3500 again. We'll close it out with our parenthesis and go ahead and place a comma. Now let's go ahead and type the word qualified in quotation marks. Let's separate it by a comma and type the word unqualified in quotation marks. And let's go ahead and close it out with a parenthesis. Now looking at Sally's numbers, I do not think she will meet the qualifications. Go ahead and say enter and see if I'm correct. Okay, so as you can see, Sally is unqualified. Now let's go ahead and do an autofill for Rhonda, Felicia, and Chris. Let's place our mouse inside of cell K6. Let's hover until we get our black cross. And let's go ahead and drag it all the way down. So as you can see, Rhonda is qualified. Felicia does not meet the specification. And Chris is qualified as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close this lesson out. I hope you found this information helpful, and I will see you in the next video. So that wraps up this lesson from Microsoft Excel. I hope that you are getting the most out of these level up lessons. Please do let us know if you have questions or concerns. Take a break if you need to, and we will see you in the next video.